Hey everyone, thanks for trying to learn to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be playing and taking you through 4 small box tin games that are going to be headed to Kickstarter from Galen's Games. Each one of these has a solo mode in it, and otherwise is a 1 to 2 player competitive game where players are going to be competing with their fellow player, or in the solo rules, to accomplish different goals. Each one of these games is a little bit different and provides you with new challenges. A couple of these games are more strategy based, where other ones are more push your luck and competitive, battling out your fellow opponent to try to win the day. And I'm going to take you through each one of these, playing through a sample part of the game to give you a better idea how this plays. As always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we continue to grow, build and produce this content. I do also want to point out that all the materials here are prototypes and are subject to change. They'll look a lot better than the final production copy of the game. So let's go ahead and head to the table and we'll see how these little guys play. First, let's start with Monster Mashup, where the players are playing mad scientists that are going to be splicing monsters together and then competing with each other and having the monsters battle each other. And whichever player is able to defeat the other player's monsters 3 times is going to be the winner of the game. Alright, so ready to move into the game. So the game itself is going to be played over an undefined number of rounds. During each round, you're going to go through a sequence, and you're going to continue doing this until one of the players has defeated their opponent's monsters 3 times. So each one of these rounds is going to start with the players building a monster. So each player is going to get to draw 3 cards from their monster deck. And then I'm going to go ahead and handle this real quick off camera, where each player is going to, each one of the cards is double-sided, so each player is going to be able to choose the sides of the monsters to put together. Alright, so our players have built a Griff-a-Sloth and a Crack-a-Rat. And from here, then they're going to set their markers. So with my Dr. Chaos, his monster has 4 health and gives him 4 energy, so he's up to 7. And on the Crack-a-Rat, it has 6 health, and it's only going to give 2 energy on that one. From there, we're going to move into the roll phase, where each of the players is going to roll their 2d6s. Alright, so we got a pair of 5s and a 3 and a 1. So once per round, if a player rolls a 1, that player gets 1 energy up to their max energy of 8. From here, the player that rolled the lowest value will be the first player to go, and that player can choose to spend 1 energy to reroll both dice, or 2 energy to reroll one of the dice that that player rolled. And then once that player makes that decision, then it'll go to the other player to do the same thing, and this is going to continue going back and forth until both players have passed in succession. So then each player also has an ability on their monster that will also be triggered. And so this one says if an opponent rolls more than 7, the opponent rerolls 1 die. So I have to handle that real quick. And I got a 1, so I pick up an energy now. And then this player says opponent's first roll has a 5 or 6. I get to reroll a die, but my opponent does not. So from here, my opponent is going to spend 1 energy to reroll both of his dice. And this time he did a little bit better at a 10, so that was pretty successful there. All right. So he has handled his turn, so Dr. Death is going to go now. So again, Dr. Death can do the same thing, spending 1 to reroll both, or 2 to reroll 1. So I'm going to go ahead and reroll 1 and hope for a better result than a 1. And it's back to a 10. All right, so he's good there, and back over to Dr. Chaos. Dr. Chaos at this point is going to stay. So once both players have passed, now as the Dr. Death is also going to pass, there's no point in doing anything else, it's going to move into the boost phase. And this phase is the tricky part where I really can't simulate this. So during this phase, the players are going to count to 3 and then simultaneously do something with their hands. They can hold up between 0 to 5 fingers, which is going to give them a boost, which they'll have to spend the amount of energy that they claim. So if I hold up 4, then I'm spending all 4 of my energy to boost my attack by that amount. So that's the first thing. Or I can hold up a fist, which is defend, and I'm going to gain energy equal to my intelligence. And then if I lose, I reduce the damage by half. The last thing I can do is pound the table. If I pound the table, I hit the panic button, and both players must reroll all dice and keep the results. If the other player defends, then that player is going to lose the battle. So if a player defends and I say Dr. Death decides to push the panic button and the other player defends, Dr. Death automatically loses. So you have to be careful with this. And this is a really interesting bluff kind of strategy where somebody rolls really high and somebody else doesn't roll super high. That is a potential option, or all kinds of other strategies that I can see with this. So with this part, I'm simply going to kind of simulate this effect and try to work through it. So I know for a fact that this player, I only have 4 energy. So even if I bet all 4 energy, there's no way that I can beat this guy. If he goes with 5 energy, he'll max out there. So he could potentially do that. So I might want to do the fist on my player over here so that I am going to gain a little bit of energy, but then I'm also going to only take half damage. And I've got a lot of damage to spare, so I can play the long game and try to outlast my opponent. Or I could risk going after the pound the table, as I'm figuring my opponent will probably bet some of his energy to try to boost that effect and get some extra out of there to do some serious damage to me. So I could do that and force us to reroll and see where the dice fall to. But I think for this first one, I'm going to play it safe. So I'm going to go ahead and do the fist for defense. And this player is going to bet 3 energy to get a boost there. So he's going to have to spend his energy. So he's down to 4, and he's going to place a 3 here. So now he's at 13 to my 10. So after that has happened, then we're going to move into resolving this attack. We're going to determine who has the highest value. So I have 13 here to 10 here, so I beat the other player by 3 points. So I'm going to deal 1 damage based on the current level of the arena, and then if I get equal to or greater than my attack value on my monster, I also deal that amount of damage. So I'm actually going to be dealing 4 damage. And this player did defend, so I'm going to reduce that damage by half, so I'm only going to take 2 damage from that attack. And then I also am going to gain energy for playing defend. All right, so that is that. So then we're going to move into round 2. So the arena is going to be dishing out more damage to us, and the players are going to start over. All right, so both of our players are going to start again by rolling. All right, so I've got 5 to 7. So first off, this player again did not roll any 5s or 6s, barely got that combined. And then the other player, it rolls a 7 or more, the opponent re-rolls 1 dice, or 1 die. And I'm not going to trigger that at this point. So I did roll lower, so I'm going to spend 1 energy to re-roll both dice and see if I can do a little bit better here. And I got a 1, so I do get to gain that back. And then it's going to bounce to the other player to go. And I have 6 energy at this point. And I don't get to trigger his ability. So I am going to... If I end up rolling super high, then he's just going to trigger that and cause problems there. So I'm going to pass at this point. So it's going to go to the other player. That player is going to spend another energy to try to get a better result here. And an 11. Okay, so he rolls much better this time. And so now it's going to go back over to my player to go again. So I have to make a choice here. I'm going to try to reroll both dice. I want to see if I can maybe get a little bit better of a result. So I got a pair of 3s for a total of 6. Then it's going to go back to this player who's going to pass. I'm going to spend 1 more and try this again. And I got a 3. Oh no, that's not good. And this player is going to pass again. I'm going to try 1 more time because a 3 is terrible results here. And it's a 5. Oh man, I'm just getting killed here. All right, so this player is going to pass again. It's going to back over to me so I could keep spending energy. An 11's a tough one to beat, but I really can't afford to lose by that much. So I'm going to try it again. Going through all my energy here. There it is. There's an 11. So now he's going to trigger his ability, and I have to reroll 1 of these dice. So I'm going to reroll the 5 and see what I get here. And it's a 6. Oh, I did even better. Awesome. All right, so that player is done. So, and this player triggered his thing. So we're all going to pass at this point. There's nothing else our players can do. So again, we're going to move into that boost phase where we are going to simultaneously reveal our hands and go from there. So both of our players do not have a lot of energy at this point. So let's see. I am going to go ahead and do... All right, so 1, 2, 3. That was terrible. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so one player's defending, the other player's adding 2. So I've spent all of my energy to add 2 additional power to that. And the other player over here is going to defend, so I get half of that back, or I get 4 back, so I'm back up to 7. So that was a huge thing for that player. And then from there, we're going to determine the damage. So I rolled 12 plus 2 for 14, and this player has 11 over here, so I beat that player by 3 points. And so that player did defend, so he's going to only take half damage from that. So my player here, I don't have any energy left. Otherwise, I could do once per round. I could spend an energy to increase or decrease my monster's special attack by 1. So I could have been able to deal a little bit more damage. So I'm going to be doing 3 damage, 1 or 2 from the arena and 1 from my monster, as I did beat that value. And this player did get the defense, so he's only going to take 1 damage, as 3 cut in half, rounded down, is going to be 1. All right, so then we're into round 3 for big stakes here. So each of our players is gonna get to go again. So let's see what happens here. Now, one player is out of energy, so this could be really bad. All right, so both players roll a 1, so each player is going to gain 1 energy for that. And then it's going to go into the player's turn. So again, this guy has not had any luck with the other player triggering. That player has not rolled well most of the game, at least on that first roll. So as the lowest player, I can go, and I'm going to spend the 1 energy and try to get a better result here. And I got a 9, so I was able to do that. All right, so then it's the other player to go. That player is going to spend the 1 to re-roll both dice. And he's got a 7. And he's going to trigger that effect to cause the other player to re-roll a die. So I'm going to re-roll the 4. And I got a 1, so now I am down to 6. All right, so it's back over to my player here. I have no energy left, so I have to pass. And this player over here is going to spend 2 energy to re-roll this 1. And it's another 6. Oof, that's painful. All right. So at this point, then, that player is going to... it's going to pass back over here. He has to pass, and it's going to go to him. He's going to pass as well. So now we're into the boost phase. So our players have to decide how they're going to handle this. And... all right. So I'm already down by 6 here, and I have no energy to spend to boost that. So, all right. So then our players are going to go. So 1, 2, 3. So both players defend. So we'll see what happens with this. All right. So both players are going to get amount of energy based on their intelligence. And then we're going to determine who rolled the highest. So we have 12 to 6. So this player won by 6. So he is going to do damage the other player. He's going to deal 3 damage there, plus an additional 3 damage there. But this player only takes half damage. So it's going to be rounded down to 3 points of damage. So 1, 2, 3. So he's got 1 hit point left. So he's holding on there. And then from there, there's nothing else that our players can do at this point. So it will move back over and start a new round. So at round 3, it is going to cycle back through to that. And so both players are going to roll again. So we've got an 8 and an 11. Woof. All right, so he finally got the triggering effect there. So he's not going to activate his thing first, but he does get to choose how he's going to handle this. And, well, he pretty much has to trigger it first, because then that other guy's going to force the reroll anyways. So I'm going to try to reroll the 3. And I got a 5 for 10. So then this player's turn is going to go. He's going to trigger his ability to force me to reroll. And I got a 2, so I'm back to 7. All right. So now the question is, what do I want to do here? That guy's still got 3 hit points. It's not looking good for the Cracker Rat. I think he's going to probably go down here. All right, so I'm going to spend the 2 to try to reroll. And I rolled a 1. Oh, no. All right, but I think I have not gained an energy yet this round for the 1, so I will get that. The other player is going to pass, and I could reroll both, but I think I'm going to stay there. All right, so from here then we're into the boost round. So again, our players are going to have to decide how they're going to handle this, and then we're going to go. So 1, 2, 3. So this player is going to defend. This player is slamming the table to try to force that panic button and the reroll. The other player defended though, so unfortunately this player is going to automatically lose. So when a player is defeated, that the monster is defeated, the other player is going to gain the monster's head as a trophy, and then all the other cards are going to be discarded into their decks, including that player's monster. Now the player that lost flips their mad science over, as he is super upset about that. He is going to get a little bit more of a powerful ability here. So he'll get once per round, increase or decrease your monster's special attack by 1. So I don't have to spend an energy to carry that out anymore. All right, so from there, then it moves back into a new round where our players are going to redo all of that. And at this point, actually, I think that stays where it is. Yeah, they stay where they are. So he only had 1, and he had, I think, 5. So either way, that is the game. So again, you're going to continue doing that. So the next step for our players would be to generate new monsters. We will draw 3 new cards each and generate new monsters. And this is going to continue going until one of the players wins the game by having defeated 3 of their opponent's monsters. The first game we'll start with is Verdant, Arizona, and in this one you are playing competing gardeners that are going to be driving around collecting cactuses to add to your garden, and whichever player is able to do this the best by building out their tableau and gaining points will be the winner and the best gardener. Alright, so moving into the game, I have 1 player on one side, 1 player on the other side, and we're going to be moving the car around. So I'm going to have the player on my left side be the starting player, and so during a player's turn, you're going to do 3 things in order. The first is to move the car, and you can move the car up to 2 spaces. Those include movement would be to rotate the car 180 degrees, to move the car straight forward, or around a corner. So for example, I could do 1 and then 2, or I could do the same thing, 1, 2 down here, or I could turn the car and move it back 1. And then once you move the car, then you're going to collect a face-up cactus that you're adjacent to. So with my player, I think I'm going to do 1, 2 here, and I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up here. So once you collect a cactus, you're going to place that in your area in any way you want to. Once the first cactus is placed, then any cactus has to be placed adjacent to it, which is a flat edge. And you're going to be building a 4x4 grid. Then you're going to replace that spot with a face down card. Then it's going to pass to the next player to do the same thing. So my other player here is going to go 1, 2. Right, and then that'll go there. All right, back to my starting player. I will do, let's do 1 and 2. So I'll click that one. I'll do that. All right, back to player 2. Player 2 is going to go 1 and 2. Click that, and he has a win now, and with them you can spend them 1. You can spend 1 to move 1 additional space with your car, or you can spend 2 to swap 2 cards positions in your tableau. All right, and then it's back to player 1. Player 1. I'm going to go 1 and 2. I'll place this over here. All right. And then it is player 2's turn. So player 2 is going to go 1 and 2. Actually, I'm going to go 1 here and then I'll rotate back. All right, I want to place that one there. Back to player 1. Player 1. And if you have the option to make it to a space, you have to do so. So I'm going to have to turn this around and do that. I'll place that one there. All right, and then it's back to player 2. So player 2 is going to do... Let's do 1 and 2. I'll collect that one. Place that one there. New card. So player 1 has to take that one up there. And I'm going to go down here with that. All right, and then I'm going to replace that card. So now player 2 has no option. And unfortunately, it worked out really rough for player 2, as you also add wens to any face-up cards. And then you're going to flip over all the cards. Now, any cards that have nests on them will have a wen placed. And then we have not gotten any geckos yet either, but geckos will add additional a way to score points at the end of the game. All right, so then player 2 gets to take his turn. And I'm actually going to just collect that one that's right there. That works out for him. All right, and then player 1, I'm going to go ahead and rotate and move down. And I'll pick this one up. And then it's back to player 2. I'm going to go down and over. I'm going to take this one here. All right, so player 1 is going to come around the corner and up here, and I'll take that one. All right, so then it's back to player 2. I'm going to go 1 and 2, and I'll take this one here. Back to player 1. 1 and 2. All right, back to player 2. All right, so I'm going to come around the corner. I'll face this way. I'm going to take that one. And I will place that here. All right, so then it's player 1. So I have to go 1, 2. I could spend the wen to move up if I wanted that one there, which I think I do. So I'm going to spend my little wen to take this one here, and I'll place that there. Okay, so then it is player 2's turn. I have to take this one, as I can reach it. And then it's over to player 1's turn, so there are no cards, so we'll flip these over. And there's the geckos. We got all kinds of cards here. Whew. Oh man, there's all the scoring cards. All right, so we've got a couple of wins out there now. Player 2 gets to go. Oh man, so what do I go after here? Let's go 1, 2. I'll take this one here. Place that there. All right, that is my turn. So back over to player 1 to, or player 2 to go. Let's go 1, 2, and I'll pick this up and place that there. All right, back to player 1. Player 1, I'm going to go here, pick that one up. Player 2, let's do 1, 2, and I will take this one here, gain the birdie, and let's go over here. All right, then it's back to player 1 to go. I'm starting to get down to the wire here. And go here and pick that one up. All right, and then it is over to player 2 to go. And go 1, 2, pick this one up. All right, and then it's back to player 1, so I have to reverse and come back here. I gotta take this one here, so I'll do that. All right, player 2. So I pretty much have to go to that one, but I will spend 1 to go here instead, and I'll pick this one up and gain that bird back. And I will place that one up here. All right, so now it's over to player 1, so I have to reverse and go this way to pick this one up. And place that there. It's back to player 2, who cannot pick up anything, so these will all be flipped over. Okay, we got a couple more birds. And it's player 2's turn. So player 2. Player 2's having a rough game here. There's not a whole lot I can do at this point, but I will get to move some stuff around. All right, I think that's going to end my turn. So it's over to player 1 to go. Go up there and grab that one. All right, and then it's player 2. Let's do 1, 2. I'll do that. All right, player 2 is going to spend a couple of wins to rearrange some stuff here. So, all right, so I can do that twice if I want to. All right, so how can I make this work so I can get some points here? Switch those 2 there. All right, and then I'll switch these 2. Well, if I do that, then I lose that one. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, so that's that. All right, so over to player 1's turn to finish off. Go ahead and go for the gecko. I have to place it here, and then I have 1 trade I can do. So what do I want to move? I'll do that. All right, and then it is over to player 2 to finish it off. So I have a 39, a 30, and a 14. So the 20 is what I need. All right, and then we move into scoring. So we'll start with player 1. So I get 1 point for every row or end column in ascending or descending order. So let's start off with the row. So I have 9, 6, 5, 2. So there's 1 point there. Now I'll just keep track of that with the birds, upside down birds. So there's 1. And then this one does not qualify. 8, 11, nope. And 32, 13, nope. All right, so then going down, so I have 2, 17, 22, 28. So that's that. And it does have a gecko in there, so I'm going to get an extra point for that. So I'm at 3. And then 5, 23, 34, there's another one. 6, 33, 12, nope. Missed it by 1, so if I would have been able to rotate, no, it wouldn't have mattered. And then 9, 15, 8, and 32. Nope. Okay. And then I get 1 point for each gecko in a row or column that is in ascending or descending order, so I took care of that gecko there. And that's the only one I got credit for. 2 points for every quadrant where all 4 cards are the same color, so I got 2. I did very well with that. 4, I got 2 more there. 2 more here. That was a big 6-pointer there. Okay. And that's that. So I have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 points with that player. All right. On the other player, I am going to have, there's 1 point, 2 points for that because I have a gecko in there. 12, 27, 36, 26. So that one does not work out. 37, 19, 7, 1. I got that. Does not have a gecko. 31, 10, nope. And then going down, 31, 37, that one is no. 10, 19, 27, 30, that is going to qualify, and it has a gecko, so I get a point for that as well. 3, 7, 36, 20, nope. 18, and no. So then the quadrants. So I have 2 points for that one and 2 points for that one. That's the only 2 that I qualified for. So then this player ends with 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So very, very close. 9 to 10, 1 point difference. So next is the heritage farmers, and in this one your ancestors have set up these fox, chicken, and corn farms, and then on the other side of the river are your markets that you're going to be selling them in at your opponent's farm. And both players are going to be competing to try to transport these. Now the catch is that you have nature's law, which with the chickens, they're going to want to eat that corn. So if the chickens are left alone with no farmers, they're going to eat all the corn. And if the foxes are left alone with the chickens, they're going to eat the chickens. So you need to balance it out, trying to keep a farmer in different locations while transporting your farmers and one good to the other side to the market. And throughout the game, the players are trying to do this so that they have 2 sets of chickens, foxes, and corn in the market. The player is able to do this first is going to be the winner, and there's a number of different ways you can lose, obviously by losing too many goods to them being consumed by other goods. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so moving into the game, the blue player is going to start off. And during the blue player's turn, that blue player is going to place their boat next to one of their area, or one of the cards, and they can load up a farmer and a good on that card, and then transport it to the market or on the other side of the river. So with my player, I'm going to go ahead, and I think I will go here. I'm going to load up my farmer, and I'm going to take this chicken. And then I'm going to sail that over here and drop that off on this card. So once I drop off a good, I also flip over the bonus and place my farmer on there. So that particular one lets me place 2 farmers on an area once I collect that. And once I move the farmer off, then I'll collect that bonus, and I'll be able to use it once per turn for the rest of the game. Now, anytime a card has no farmers on it, nature's law kicks in, where any chickens on that card are going to eat any of the corn anywhere on that card. Then the fox, if there's any foxes on the card, they'll eat all the chickens. And if a player ever loses 3 or more goods, then the game is over and the player has lost. All right, so I have moved the chicken there, and that is going to end my turn. So then it's going to move over to the other player to go. So with that player, I'm going to go ahead and take this fox off with his farmer and sail him over and place him down here. And the goal of the game is to have 2 market cards with a fox, a chicken, and corn on them. All right, so that is the orange player's turn. So it's back over to the blue player. I am going to go ahead and do... I'm going to go to this one here, and I will take... Actually, I don't want to go there yet. So I'm going to go down here, and I'll take the farmer and the fox. And I'll sail them up here, drop those off. And that one lets me move a good. All right, so then it goes back over to orange. So orange is going to go over here and pick up a chicken and his people and take them over here. Drop them off. Flip this good over. All right, so then it's back over to the blue player to go. Well, the vote's already there, so I think I have to move this turn. So maybe later on I can do that. All right, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to move there and take my farmer back, and I'll get my bonus. And I'll sail him over to this one. All right, so it's over to orange to go. So orange is going to... Orange is going to sail there. No, I don't want to do that because then I'll lose some corn. Well, actually, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and move my farmer and a corn and sail away up to this location here. So I'll drop that off, place my farmer. And then nature's law kicks in. So first off, the chicken's going to eat the corn. So my opponent lost a corn. And then the fox eats the chicken. So now I lose a chicken. All right. So then it's back to my turn. So I will take, let's see. So I could just go up here and take my guy back with this. And I'll come back down here. And I pick this up. And then his 2 chickens are eaten. And he has lost 3 goods at this point. So that is going to end the game. The final game is Dice Clash, and in this one you are going to be playing one of the warriors from the past that has been brought back to life to compete, and whichever warrior is able to win the competition is going to become immortal. Do you have what it takes to do that? Let's go ahead and find out in my clash. All right, so moving into the game with this one, the first step for each player is to determine the starting player. So everybody's going to roll a die. And whoever has the higher value, so the ninja was a little quicker, so the ninja is going to be the first player. From there, then both players are going to roll their pool of dice. And normally these are going to be kept hidden. I'm going to keep them so that you can see them, so you can kind of see what's going on. But normally you're going to keep this information hidden from your opponents. All right, so from there then each of the starting player is going to choose a die in his or her pool and place that in one of the spaces on the grid. Now, a lot of the spaces on the grid have icons and will have different effects, including giving modifiers to your dice for defense, for attacks, to modify or change the number on the die, to flip the die, and to move a die, so all kinds of different things. So let's go ahead and say that my player starts with, I'm going to go ahead and play this one here, which is a 3, and I'm going to place it on this +1 defense slot. So it's an attack of 3 and a defense of 4. That the defense isn't really going to help me at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and go with that spot. So from there, then it's going to move over to my opponent. Now my opponent has to defend that by playing a die of a higher value than the attack die. So I have to play a die that is higher than 3. So I'm going to go ahead and play this 4. I'm going to go ahead and play it in this slot here, which is a +1 attack. So I'm going to attack the other player with a 5. So now it's going to bounce back to that player to go. So that player is going to have to play a die that is higher than 5. So I'm going to need a 6. So I have a couple choices here. I have one white die that's a 6. When playing a white die into your area, you're going to actually also have to re-roll all of your other dice. So this can be beneficial or not, depending upon what timing that is. And then you also have a red die, and that die can be played at any time as well to trigger your special ability on your character, and each character has their own special ability. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and choose this 5 here and place it here, which actually modifies the die up +1 or -1. So I'm going to change that to a 6. So I'm going to attack the Viking with a 6. So now the Viking player is going to go. So I have to play a 7 or higher, and since there is no such value on a die, I can choose to play a 1. And then that is going to help me with that. So I'm going to play the 1, and I will play it on the +1 defense. All right, so I was able to defend that, so it's going to be back to the next player. Again, now I have to beat a 1 value, so any die will pretty much do. And so I'm going to go ahead and I will go ahead and play this one here. And I'm going to just go ahead and place it in that middle slot. All right, so it's going to be back over to the Viking player, who now has to play a die higher than 2. So I'm going to go ahead and play this 4 here, which is going to modify, I can modify it up to a 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that'll kick it back to the other player to play it has to play a 6. So again, that player only pretty much has this one left. So I will do this, and I'm going to place this on this slot here, which is a +1 attack. So it's going to be a 7. So then I have to re-roll all of these dice. Oof, low dice. All right, so it's back over to my other player to go, and that player has to play a 1 at this point. Or that player does have the Viking shield wall, and this means that when I play the red, no matter the value, it's going to equal a defense of 8. So, I mean, that might be a good option. Or I could play one of these 2s in there to modify it down to a 1. So I will go ahead and do that. So then it's going to be back over to the other player again to go. And I'm going to go ahead and play this one here into the front slot with the rotation, which means that I flipped a die over. So now I'm attacking with a 5. So again, that player, the Viking player, has to play a 6 or higher. And let's see. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to play this 4 into this +2 defense slot. So that's going to bump that up to a 6. All right, so then it kicks back over to this player, so I have to play a 5 or higher. So that is a problem now. So with that, at this point, I don't have a die of that's that high, and I don't think there's any dice that I can play that is going to help me. So at this point, then the ninja has been defeated. As a ninja, there is nothing else for the ninja to play, and her smoke bomb ability isn't going to help with that. As the smoke bomb, let me go over what that does real quick. The smoke bomb is an opponent ignores all modifiers on their grid when placing their next die. So that could be good in certain circumstances, but it really won't help me here. All right, so at this point, then the round is over, and the ninja player is actually going to flip her card over to the adrenaline side. So now at this point, then we'll reset up and play again. and then whoever is able, if I'm able to defeat the ninja again, then the Viking has won. Otherwise, if the Viking gets defeated, she'll flip over as well, and then it'll be a third battle to determine whoever is the winner out of that. Well, I hope you found this video helpful in learning more about these games and whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please post those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have in the comment section as well. I'm sure the creator would love to hear from you and is more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.